The one that everybody's talking about is Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, because everybody has said Dak Prescott is a guy who retired Tony Romo. Dak Prescott is a guy who came in and was a leader for the Dallas Cowboys and QB1 since he's inception basically into the NFL. He's done nothing wrong off the field, okay? There were some slanderous videos out there trying to take him down, but he has done nothing wrong off the field. He has just done incredible stuff on the field. Now, he only has one playoff win, and I misquoted that the other day. I said he has no playoff wins. He has a playoff win against Seattle, but he hasn't been able to go ahead and do that on multiple occasions. And last year, they had a great team, but they weren't able to make the playoffs. And Jerry Jones said his hands don't get cramped writing checks. Well, if he would have wrote a check to Dak Prescott before last season, before Dak has his best statistical year, his hand wouldn't have had to get a cramp. But it felt like if you watch this entire negotiation process go down, Dak was expecting a lot of money, and Jerry did not want to give it to him in 4 years. He wanted to give it to him in 5 years, allegedly, was the big difference. And everything was kind of quiet. They didn't talk. Yesterday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, comes and goes. Now Dak's playing for $31.4 million. But the interesting part of this entire story, because once a franchise tag is handled and done, okay, Dak's playing for $31.4 million. They can't negotiate anymore. There's no long-term deal coming to Dak this year, but Dak and the Cowboys might be getting along. Dak and the Cowboys have come to an understanding that, hey, you have one more season here, that you're going to have to prove it under $31.4 million. We wish we could have got a deal done, even though they probably didn't. If you expect them to be negotiating in good faith, you say probably could have get a deal done. But now you get a chance to work with McCarthy, one of the best quarterback and offensive coaches in NFL history. Let's see what you can do, and then we'll get you next year. But instead, that is not the feeling coming after yesterday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because Tad Prescott... Okay, Tad Prescott, who had a birthday on May 10th, and the only reason why we know that is because we went through Dak's Twitter account, and Dak tweeted to Tad, happy birthday on May 10th, so that means Dak and Tad rather tight at this point. Now, you can't always listen to siblings of people and say that they're speaking for the person, because they might have had a falling out. It happens on a very regular basis. When a person in a family or a friend group gets a lot of money, sometimes that can cause a little bit of discourse in the relationships between the person with said money and success and everybody else that has been around them. Every once in a while, and people want to say, oh, the person that got the money, they changed. But I've seen in multiple cases that it wasn't really the person that changed. It was actually the friend group around them or the family group around them. Maybe they start expecting things from the person. They want things, they wish things, and it kind of ruins the relationship. So sometimes when you hear a family member speaking for somebody, it's like, well, are they even that tight? Do they even know each other? Dak wished him a happy birthday just a couple months ago. Let's assume they've been in the process. Tad Prescott said that he wasn't a Cowboys fan growing up or before they drafted Dak. And after today, who knows how much longer I'll be cheering for them. Now, he might be alluding to the fact, shout out to Tad, by the way, right there on the right side. Is that Tad Prescott, by the way? Is that Tad Prescott on the right?
Yeah.
100% sure?
85%.
I did not see that photo before we went live. I did not know we had a photo of Tad.
Yeah, it's the same as his Twitter picture.
They're in the commercial.
Oh, shout out to us. Hey, good work back there, boys.
It should be.
So Tad says, there's a reason I was never a Cowboys fan growing up or before they drafted, and who knows how much longer I'll be cheering for him. Is he saying that because history shows that if a quarterback plays on the franchise tag, he's probably not going to be a part of that team for much longer? Happened with Drew Brees when they were the San Diego Chargers. He ends up leaving, going to the Saints. Now, that was because of a shoulder issue, but still, same type of thing. And Kirk Cousins did it with the Washington football team, which, by the way, we will talk about that soon. The internet was alive last night with Dan Snyder and Washington football team stuff. But now, is he saying that because Kirk Cousins obviously leaves that team? Is Dak going to leave that team eventually because that's what history tells us? Or is he saying that because he doesn't like the way that negotiation process went? Is he saying that because Dak thought they were potentially going to be able to get a deal done and they said that he hopped in last minute to potentially try to get a deal done? Is Tad upset because they weren't able to get a deal done? Or is it because he says history proves that he probably won't be a teammate of anybody on the Cowboys because that's what the franchise tag quarterback plays shows? I don't know. Either way, they can't get a deal done, and this is going to be drama for another 12 months about Dak and the Dallas Cowboys because Dak has been great for them. They haven't won which is what Jerry Jones says all he cares. I just want to win some games. They have not won. They have not gone for it when somebody in their division has won a Super Bowl in the same time. So it's a different thing. But boy, this whole thing is going to get ugly. It's going to be pretty. There's going to be every single press conference that Dak has in the first couple weeks of the season going to ask about the contract, his long term. It's going to be something that just lingers in the background because the Dallas Cowboys are on national television every single weekend because Jerry Jones is a part of the negotiating TV contract deal thing. So, I mean, you're going to have to hear about this for a long haul, but Tad is not happy about it. He'll probably be changing the channel. Root for my brother, not for the team. Let's get rich somewhere else. Right below there, the Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton setup is the number 2 highest salaries towards a quarterback room in the NFL going into next year. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. Everybody said that last year he should have got a deal done with the Dallas Cowboys. He goes out and has his best year. Now he's up for being a free agent. Then the franchise tag hits and everybody's like, well, if Jerry likes him, he needs to lock him down. He needs to lock him down. His group was steadfast on a 4-year deal. Jerry was steadfast on a 5-year deal. Now they don't come to an agreement. He plays for $31.4 million this year. The last 2 quarterbacks, the only 2 quarterbacks that have ever played on the franchise tag, have ended up leaving the team that they're playing for. Drew Brees with the San Diego Chargers, Kirk Cousins with the Washington football team named TBD. Is the Washington Post article out yet? Can't wait to read that. I think it is going to be devastating. But when you talk about Dak Prescott, his brother put out a tweet yesterday that was very interesting. He said, there's a reason I wasn't a fan of the Cowboys growing up and before they drafted Dak. And after today, who knows how much longer I'll be cheering for them. Did that situation get ugly down there? And is that something that you think about when you're a general manager and you're dealing with your quarterback? Like, hey, let's not try to ruin this relationship long-term either, because that matters in this thing that involves humans.
Well, you know as well as anybody, money is the only really factor here. So let's just put this in perspective. The Cowboys look at Aaron Rodgers' salary. They look at Russell Wilson's salary. And they say, Dak, you're not better than either one of these guys. So, they see Jared Goff there and they say, okay, you're better than him. So they offer him a 5-year deal that averages somewhere between $33 and $35 million, according to Jane Slater. Right? He wants a 4-year deal. I don't think it's about years. I think it's about average. Todd France, his agent, realizes that Patrick Mahomes in the 40s. He knows Deshaun Watson's going to be in the 40s. He doesn't care that his player's not better than Russell Wilson. He doesn't care that his player's not better than Aaron Rodgers. He cares that his player is up. And as you know, being a player, sometimes being the best player doesn't mean you get the most money. It means your timing has to be the best. And right now, Dak Prescott's timing is the best. So for Todd France, sign the tender, put the ball back in Jerry's court, make him have to see what he's going to do, because in 2 years, in another year, he'll get $37 million. So now he's at 2 years, right around that number. He doesn't have anything to lose. So it's getting easier for Todd France to say no. There's no deal on the table that Todd France says we should take this deal, because it's too easy to say no.
If you were Jerry, would you have locked him down, knowing that he and Mike McCarthy have not gone through a season together yet and having no idea what that could potentially look like?
I would have. I really would have been. I would not. I don't agree that he's better than Aaron Rodgers. I don't agree that he's better than Russell Wilson. But I also understand the market. And he's not better than Carson Wentz, who did a deal. That's another problem in the division. I mean, Carson Wentz took a team, was almost the MVP. They won a Super Bowl, I know, with Nick Foles. So I think logic tells you, your one side of your brain says logically we shouldn't pay him this much. The other side says we're going to have to.
Who's telling you Deshaun Watson's deal is going to get done in the next 10 days? Anybody reliable?
That's running through the league. I think people know they're working hard on it. I mean, look, once Mahomes got done, then Deshaun Watson's deal is going to get done. It's like you just knew it. It's like Chris Jones's deal. The reason it got done was because Mahomes, the way he structured his deal.
How are they going to pay everybody? How are they going to pay everybody? Chris Jones gets $80 million. Patrick Mahomes gets $5 million.
Here's the thing. We have to look at the contracts. Chris Jones' contract is essentially for 2 years. Then there's no guaranteed money in years 3 and 4. Then he could walk away. So all the guarantees in the first 2 years, we get so caught up in the marquee name of the number. Okay, he just signed. It's always the first 3 years of the deal. And the first 3 years of Mahomes' deal is very friendly for the club. Will lower the cap number. Now, they're going to have to get rid of some mid-level players. I mean, if you're not playing well and you're making $6 or $7 million, you're going to be out the door. They're going to have to rely on their draft. They're going to have to sign some guys. But Chris Jones was key for them, Pat, because Chris Jones is the one guy, if he played on an opposing team, say he played on the Colts, he could give Mahomes a lot of trouble.